Ladies and gentlemen, if somebody asks you, will you think President Trump's going to win the election? Or when he does win the election, and people say, oh my God, how did he win? How did he win? How could Trump have won? The polls show that he was off. How did he do it? How did he do it? My God almighty. You simply have to say, well, look, they were obsessing over crowd size the day of his inauguration and then 4 years later. Okay? Practically about little under 4 years later, they're still worried about crowd size. So the question is the following. If their lives are focused on denigrating, disparaging, demeaning President Trump because they feel that he is like this bully and this ogre and this monster, then they're not focused on policy. They're not focused on any political objective. They demand allegiance from their voters. Are they giving them Medicare for all? No. They're not. Are they giving them any Green New Deal legislation? No. That was a resolution. Foreign policy is like completely foreign to Democrats. There is no foreign policy. Tell me the foreign policy goal that they want. I can tell you late February, early March, President Trump and his administration, I should say, signed an historic deal to end our involvement in America's longest-running military conflict. This is a reversal of 20 years of failed foreign policy by by Bush and then President Obama. That's one major achievement of the Trump administration that nobody has talked about. What have Democrats achieved? What have they given their voters? Nobody cares about their condemnation. Nobody cares about their judgment. Anthony Perone, hello. I went to that Flint Flossie YouTube channel. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Love it. Kathy, hello. Hello to my big booty, Australia. Yes. David, hello. Cosmic Grandpa. Eric, H526. Luke St. Martin, the two greatest moderators in all of YouTube and YouTube history. To my super chat, thank you. People, if you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. If you want to be part of a newsletter, email me at contactgoodman78@gmail.com. That's contactgoodman78@gmail.com. And subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. I have a great segment up on there. CNN, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump livid at Trump campaign manager over his crowd size predictions. New York Times, TikTok tanks Trump rally. The Hill, Republicans launch new ad hitting Trump over rally turnout. Axios, Chris Wallace grills Trump campaign advisor on Tulsa rally. The arena was empty. It wasn't empty. Again, the fact that he's even having a rally. Democrats pretend they had well over 2 million people vote during a pandemic on March 17th, waiting in long lines, touching the same ballots, breathing the same air, most of whom were not wearing masks. This was March 17th, so it wasn't mandatory in any state. Illinois, Florida, and Arizona, just to ensure Bernie Sanders wouldn't get anywhere near the White House. And then they were waiting in the rain in Wisconsin to vote against Medicare for all because they voted Biden in and kicked Bernie to the curb, and that was to ensure they wouldn't get Medicare for all. So Democrats are all over the place. The Atlantic, where was the silent majority? I mean, this is what they do. all the time. This is why they're going to lose. So petulant. Hundreds of thousands of people sign up. Tremendous enthusiasm. Then the media says, if you go, your life is at risk. If you go, your life is at risk. Oh my God. Your life is at risk if you go. Then there are protests outside. Then the Secret Service has to make sure that not everybody goes in for some reason. I was reading. Then you have like an article, Pink mocks Trump over thousands of empty seats at Tulsa rally. Who cares? I mean, she's a great, brilliant musician, but who cares what any musician thinks or any late night talk show host? What do I care? Who cares? Who is looking at this and saying, gosh, everyone doesn't like him, so I won't vote for him? Americans are not like that. Nobody is. Australians are not like that. British people are not like this. Canadians are not like this. I mean, nobody looks and says, gosh, this person is really unpopular, so I won't vote for that person. Nobody thinks that way. If you thought that way, you wouldn't have punk music. You wouldn't have, the greatest artists, the greatest musicians, the greatest actors, the greatest scientists, the greatest business people would not have achieved tremendous accomplishments if everyone cared about what others think. Who cares? What do I care what Robert De Niro or Jimmy Kimmel think about anything? So they're going to lose again, which is going to be so unbelievably beautiful. What do I care? That's the point. It doesn't matter. So the fact that he's even having a rally where Biden is having a virtual town hall that doesn't even, that's another reason Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. Share my Times of Israel article below. Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. And share my Huffington Post article. Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. I wrote that in 2017. It will be the biggest political call of all time. But, what do I care? Do I care about if people don't like Trump, and do I care that that the rally had 8,000 seats filled as opposed to 19 or 20,000? You had media saying if you went, you're going to lose your life because of the pandemic. Then people don't show, and then they say, ha, Trump, nobody wants to go to his rallies. Well, the hundreds, I do believe the campaign when they say close to 1 million people signed up. For whatever reason, you had 8,000 people, but you had more people outside waiting, and just because somebody signed up doesn't mean they're going to go, but the fact that they even took a moment to sign up, and it really doesn't matter. Let's say if there was 8 to 10,000 people, I don't even know what the actual number is. It doesn't matter. That's 8 to 10,000 more people. And then you have hundreds of thousands of people watching online. So, what does it matter? The enthusiasm, okay, they're going to lose. They're going to mock and denigrate and retweet Trump into 8 years. And the polls are even worse. They're even more inaccurate than they were in 2016. This election is going to be decided and won by President Trump because of voter enthusiasm. Because all the coolest, most wonderful people in the room, Patricia Cannon! Patricia, thank you very much. Patricia Cannon, thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you. Greatly appreciated, Patricia. Thank you. The people in the room, ladies and gentlemen, who the coolest people, the smartest people in the room, they don't like Trump. Patricia, thank you again. But what do I care what they think? peer pressure is important, or peer pressure is unfortunately quite powerful when you're growing up. But even then, if you're given the right guidance, you can, and you're taught the right things, you can ignore peer pressure. But what on earth, like, why would I care if Hollywood, like, they're even mocked by their own side? You have these public service announcements. Patricia Cannon, thank you. Wally-Pop, David, Anthony, hello. Gahan, hello. Does that help Democrats win the election? No, it doesn't. What can they say? Did they pass any major legislation? No. Did they impeach Trump? Yes. Was it on a legal statute he broke? No, which means that all of their investigations didn't lead to any criminal act that Trump committed. So where have they, like, what have they succeeded in doing aside from showing the world how inept they are? And how, and like, they're completely clueless because they're going to go into this election with Hillary Clinton again. They will lose again with the same person. The same exact person. First, last. Is this thing on? That's a great old school comedy routine. Is this thing on? First, last. Hello. Hope all is well. Patricia Cannon, thank you again. Patricia. But they're going to lose again because they haven't accomplished anything. What have they accomplished? What legislation have they accomplished? I mean, have they passed? Green New Deal? Legislation? No. Kathy DePoy! Kathy, thank you so very much, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy DePoy, thank you so very much. Patricia, first, last, Kathy, thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you as always. But they haven't passed any major piece of legislation on any topic that they obsess over or harp on. So tell me why anyone would vote Democrat. Okay, they don't like Trump's words, but they can never, and this is another issue related to crowd size. They say he's this horrible human being, but they don't base their argument on anything he actually says. It's this subtext, this subliminal, this alternative meaning that they come up with, and then they obsess over that. So President Trump didn't say you should, like, consume Drano. He never said that. It was like at the end of a press conference, he was like thinking about whether something could possibly happen, and they obsessed over it. Trump says this. Trump introduces. Then they say Trump introduces. And so they say, well, he said both sides. Well, what does that mean? It was a subliminal to the bad people. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't like Madam Secretary, who actually said super predators who should be brought to heel because they lack empathy. They get real descriptive. You ain't if you don't vote for Biden. But then that's swept under the rug. Kathy DePoy, thank you again. Patricia, thank you. Cosmic Grandpa. Trump supporters take Trump seriously, not literally. Trump haters take Trump literally, not seriously. Exactly. Thanks, and keep up the great work. Thank you, Cosmic Grandpa. Thank you. And also, what they do is they deliberately misquote and add. They demand nuance when they speak. Oh my God, they demand nuance. In context, you must give them the context and address the nuance, and you can't, look into any words they say. And oh my God, but if it's Trump, he might as well he could talk about anything, and they'll come up with their own conclusion and reasoning and everything else. Cosmic Grandpa, thank you. First, last. I tried saying something about my
my flag on my fire escape, and the tube asked me to edit. I was asked by a neighbor if I wanted to kiss the curb. I wanted to kiss the curb. I was asked by a neighbor if I wanted to kiss the curb. The neighbor said something about the flag. First, last, I'm not sure exactly what the message is. Let me go. Is this thing on? First, last. Was that what you wrote? First, last, I don't know exactly what the message is. So first, last, I apologize. But thank you as always for watching. Fire escape. Is this a fire escape? Flag. Kiss the curb. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, I'm not exactly sure first, last what that message means. Bucolic Buffalo! They will use the Sniffmeister bee's declining health to play on people for sympathy, so HSC can slide in. Bucolic Buffalo, I think that's pretty much underway. What they're going to do, and Kathy and Patricia, thank you again. Bucolic Buffalo. Bucolic Buffalo, I think that's what's basically going to happen. If you look at, they have enough time. All they have to do, the public relations spin is pretty easy. All they have to do is the following. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. All they have to do is simply they simply go ahead. They have an article written in the New York Times, an op-ed. Another article, op-ed in the Washington Post. Hey, we need Madam Secretary. We need Madam Secretary. We need Madam Secretary. Oh, my God. You know what? She's actually the right person. 77,000 votes. Oh, my God. The Russians stole the election, and they'll just do it all over again. And that's the whole plan from the very beginning. They're not going with Biden. They lost by 77,000 votes to President Trump. They don't even think President Trump should be president. They don't even think he should be president. They don't even think he should be president, much less, and they think he cheated. So Bucolic Buffalo, exactly. Cosmic Grandpa, thank you again. Kathy, Patricia, thank you. Mark Williams, thank you. Louis D, yes, I agree. If they're focused on crowd size, they're not focused on anything. Like, type in Democrats condemn Trump, Democrats outraged at Trump. You will get endless articles. I don't care. Like, the average voter doesn't care about the Democratic Party's condemnation, their outrage, their judgment, their indignation, whether they were offended by Trump. Nobody cares. He won. He won in 2016, and everybody was outraged. So who cares? It's pretty unbelievable. It will be very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, it will be very interesting. John Rambo, hello. Missy, hello. It'll be very interesting what they do when they lose. They're going to lose the election. Okay, President Trump's going 8 years. And he's going to defeat Hillary Clinton again. She's going to try again. It's there. She's the only person who could possibly win for Democrats. She could be the first female president. It's the 19th Amendment. The 19th Amendment was ratified 100 years ago. Centennial of the 19th Amendment. Jimbo! You're right. They think Madam Secretary cheated by Trump. Exactly.
Jimbo. They think Madam Secretary was cheated by Trump. He's horrible. And they're gonna do this all over again. They're going to do this all over again. And it's going to be the same outcome. But, I guess think of it from their perspective. You have a whole bunch of scorned people. Yet again, Mr. Mikey, hello. You have a whole bunch of scorned people who are voting Democrat no matter what. It doesn't. So there are 30 to 40 million people who will vote Democrat no matter what. And it doesn't matter if they lose this year with Clinton, and if she could run in 2024, they would vote for her again. Do you realize that Hillary Clinton could run again in 2024, which would be fantastic? I think that's like amazing. I'm trying to tell you. They would vote for Clinton again in 2024, and it's great. See, I'm different from people who don't like Trump. I don't have any problem with either Clinton. They're fine. Aside from destroying countries and overtly breaking the law here and there, but nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Come on. But I don't despise them the way that Trump supporters despise. Democrats despise Trump. But you have former Republicans launch new ad hitting Trump over rally turnout. Do they really want to go there? They want to talk about voter turnout? They'll be lucky if they get the popular vote. They're not going to get the Electoral College, but they'll be lucky if they get the popular vote. Nobody blames Trump for the pandemic, and nobody's saying, okay, the apoplectic reaction to his response for George Floyd's murder that took place in Minneapolis, a Democratic machine in a Democratic state with a Democratic mayor, governor, 2 senators, Amy Klobuchar, who, by the way, did not indict the officer who took George Floyd's life. So they get away with that. That's Trump's fault. Nobody is, the average person is not blaming President Trump. The average person actually who didn't like Trump is leaning towards President Trump of all different backgrounds because they're saying, okay, you have all these things going on now that Democrats are like, oh my God, do we stand with this? Do we not stand with this? Oh, this is probably going to hurt us. But you know what? So there's no natural enthusiasm for the Democratic Party. So any show of passion or they look at things that they would never look at, the Democratic Party, and they say, oh, okay, well, we don't stand by it, but people are upset. I mean, look at Trump, people are just upset. But independents are going to decide the election. Independents lean towards Trump by like a 14-point margin when it comes to the economy. So, and then you have, what on earth is Joe Biden doing? Where is he? What is he doing? You couldn't get 8,000 to 10,000 people to hear Biden speak. You couldn't get. Where could you find 8,000 to 10,000 people? This is the pandering. The pandering
It's just unbelievable. You look at Joe Biden, and then you look at the things he stated. Over the years, you look at what he's done. I mean, Kamala Harris talked about how he worked with segregationists. And it's like, it's just unbelievable. They get away with everything. But if you look at Joe Biden, all Trump allies see a mounting threat. This is hilarious. Biden's rising evangelical support. Oh my God. Why do they write these articles? Why? Oh my God. Evangelical voters are not voting Democrat ever. Certainly not for Biden. Certainly not for Clinton. Oh my God. They're doing it to themselves again. This is amazing. And then when they pass the torch to Madam Secretary, the baton, whatever, you then have, well, we were doing so well, but it's unfortunate that, first, last. Thank you, H. I didn't mean to co-op your message, just oversharing as usual. First, last, thank you so very much. I wasn't able to read the message in its entirety. I still don't understand the original message, but first, last, thank you so very much. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. First, last, thank you. Thank you. Larry Whitaker, HA and BCP must co-host a political event, so I would love to. Black Conservative Patriot is amazing. I would love to. Thank you, Larry. First, last, greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. First, last, thank you. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you. As always, Birds Nation 302. How would Hillary become nominee when Joe Biden has enough delegates to secure the nomination? Great question. Number one, the delegates are not legally bound. They can vote for Hillary Clinton. Number two, that's on the first ballot. The first ballot's the pledge delegate. There's two ballots. First is the pledge delegate. Second is the super delegates. The super delegates are all party bosses. This is a political machine. Bill Clinton is a super delegate. Bill Clinton's not going to vote for Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a super delegate. Adam Schiff is a super delegate. They're not voting for Biden. I don't see Bill Clinton or Debbie Wasserman Schultz voting for Biden. That's even if. Let's just assume. Let's just assume, Birds Nation 302. Let's just assume that Biden gets pledge delegate support, but Hillary Clinton is trying to wrestle control, but she doesn't get enough votes in the first ballot. Or if he doesn't get enough votes, it goes to, so she wrestles some of the pledge delegates away. And then some go with Biden. It goes to the super delegates. She easily gets that. But I don't even think that's going to be the issue. I think that the entire strategy was always find a way to get Biden out of the picture once he has secured the nomination, and Bernie Sanders is there's no way at all, there's absolutely no way at all that Bernie Sanders could become nominee. Which, it's possible. I'm not saying that if that's the issue, then Biden would get the nomination and they would tank their chances. I'm talking about at the convention, and then right after the convention, Clinton becomes nominee some way. But there's no way on planet Earth that Biden is going to roll into November 3rd because they wouldn't even get the popular vote. There are 1,000 reasons, not because I've been saying since 2017 that Clinton will be nominee, but you look at Biden, in any other point in time in American history or the political history of any other country, how would Biden be a viable candidate? Birds Nation, thank you, 302, but it's also a political machine. There's no way
that Hillary Clinton isn't going to be nominated because she's the only chance they have. It's the centennial of the 19th Amendment. I don't believe that they would be inept enough to pass that up. Birds Nation 302. So Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. There's a million different ways she could become nominee. The pledge delegate issue, that's just public relations. They're not legally bound to even vote for Biden. And in court, the DNC lawyer stated they don't even have to. They could pick their nominee in smoke-filled back rooms. Birds Nation 302. Go Eagles. Thank you. Kathy DePoy. Alarming. Biden has a history of. Yeah, I mean, Kathy, thank you. Kathy, thank you. That's the issue regarding. That's just one element of all of this, Kathy. I think that it could be something horrendous, something absolutely horrendous that Biden says yet again. So you had the Charlemagne Jimbo Mannequin Wizard, thank you. I missed thank you, Eric H526, thank you. Kathy, they have that. They have Biden's track record. They have Biden's scandals. They have Tara Reid and the allegations against him. They have the fact that in a debate he would be demolished. He would get absolutely demolished by President Trump. I just don't see voter turnout. I mean, I don't think that I always viewed the primary to be a charade. From Iowa, when they took like 3 days to find the results, and there was an app linked to Clinton's campaign, to Amy Klobuchar just dropping out, to $1 billion spent by $1 billion spent by Bloomberg, to everything else that's taken place during this primary. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm telling you, I don't know how they're going to do it. Kathy, thank you again. Thank you so much, Kathy. First Last, thank you again. First Last, thank you. Thank you as always for watching. Thank you. I just think that I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know how they pass, they transfer the nomination to Clinton. But if they don't, they'll lose in a landslide. They will lose in a landslide. They will absolutely lose in a landslide. So I don't know how they do it, but it's going to happen. Tulsi Gabbard endorsing Joe Biden? I don't know. It's bizarre. I think it's bizarre. I don't know what I don't know what to say about that. But I can tell you that I respect Tulsi Gabbard a great deal. But I don't know. I don't see Biden as different from. But see, the thing is, if you run as a Democrat, I think there's a limit as to what you're free to do, or how you're free to think. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. All I can tell you is that
They ain't going with Biden. And if they were inept enough, if they were so pathetic and inept and such failures that they went with, because, okay, Biden does not have a base of voters. His base of voters are Clinton supporters. He didn't even get 1% in Iowa in 2008. He never won a primary till South Carolina in his entire life. Okay, up until recently, he was, and he still doesn't have as much money as President Trump. So I don't see, there's zero way. There's zero way. I don't know how it happens. It could be, it's pretty simple. I mean, one way is the following. You get an op-ed in the Washington Post, an op-ed in the New York Times. That's very simple. You get a couple pundits on CNN and MSNBC after Biden says something absurd, does something absurd, some other issue, a scandal, another scandal, whatever. And they say, well, he has a great vice president. And my God, well, you know what? And then they say, well, we can't pick Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders, whatever. They'll kick Bernie to the curb again, or they've already kicked Bernie to the curb, whatever. They're not going to. He'll be replaced in some way by Madam Secretary. Like I said, it's going to be predicated by something Biden does or something that takes place. So if he slides into second base, oh my goodness. The vice presidential pick, Biden's vice president, whomever he chooses, there's a great BBC article. Oh my God. They've evaluated each possible candidate by this charisma, experience, fundraising, voter appeal. It's like the Democratic Dungeons and Dragons special power. Oh my God. Historic Wisconsinite special power. This is like a Dungeons and Dragons thing. Charisma, experience, fundraising, voter appeal. And it's at 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 5 stars or 5 happy faces for charisma. Okay, this is hilarious. Oh my God, this is the best. This is the best article you've ever seen in your life. Who could Joe Biden's vice presidential candidate be? Kamala Harris, 3.5 happy faces for his charisma. Gretchen Whitmer, 3 out of 5 happy faces. Elizabeth Warren, 3.5. This is hilarious. This is so funny. Oh my God. This is an amazing. Oh, Susan Rice gets only 2 out of 5. This is hilarious. This is 8 hours ago, BBC. This is fantastic. This is pretty amazing. First, last, take another little piece of my heart now, but you know you got it if it makes you feel good. First, last, thank you, first, last, thank you. First, last, thank you. Thank you again. Kathy DuBois. Kathy, as always, thank you. Patricia, thank you. This BBC article is so fantastic, I can't tell you. Also, the pandering at this point doesn't work. Democrats, they didn't suddenly go from Russia to Ukraine
to the pandemic to now the issues they're obsessing over. Like, they didn't suddenly, like, voters aren't saying, the Democratic voters aren't saying, oh, wow, they really care. Democratic voters are saying, we can't stand Trump, so what can we do to prevent another 4 years? But they're not going to stop President Trump, so I don't know. I don't see any way Democrats win. And I see an electoral landslide and even a popular vote victory. Biden wouldn't even get the popular vote. Biden would be absolutely eaten alive in a debate. Clinton holds her own against Trump. So again, it's like, let me tell you something. My prediction remains firm. Oh, I like the way that sounds. My prediction remains firm and remains the same always. Hillary Clinton will be nominee and will be across that ballot on November 3rd against President Trump. She's the only chance Democrats have. She'll lose again. They don't care. She'll run again in 2024. But if Democrats are so, like, if they want to deliberately obliterate their political party and go with Biden, the euphoria of President Trump getting the popular vote will overshadow any disappointment I have in my prediction not taking place. Like, greatly overshadow. Because it would be the 85 Bears in the Super Bowl. I mean, it would be the 85 Bears Super Bowl, like, it would be the late night chat is hilarious. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for staying up, everybody. Thanks for staying up, people. And God bless you. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. I have a segment there. Everyone first, last, everyone, Jimbo, everybody, Kathy, Patricia. Thank you, everybody. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, the two best moderators in all of YouTube. CG, SSF, thank you. David, thank you. Cosmic Grandpa, everybody. Missy, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. If you want to support my voice long term, ladies and gentlemen, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment. Thanks, everybody.